What things should people never Google? Tukcha massacre or Dagestan beheading massacre films. Russian soldiers surrendered to extremist forces hoping to become POWs. Unfortunately, they were deceived, and Chechen commander Umaredil Sultanov ordered his soldiers to cut the prisoners' throats as revenge for his fallen comrades. You'll get to listen to the cries of young men and their futile efforts to stay alive in these tapes. So I support schools doing web security for their kids. One call we got was they had been doing an engineering class and they actually asked their kids to image search things longer than 6 inches. Yeah, don't Google that unless you have safe search enabled. I always get a kick out of looking at their keyword block list. Some of the middle school kids search for is hilarious. Anything related to a crime you're about to commit. I sometimes worry about my search history. I'm genuinely quite a curious person. For example, I read about articles involving some crime or another, and then inevitably my curiosity gets the better of me, and I end up searching for things related to it. The other day I read about someone in my area who got arrested and then released after being accused of taking photos of school children in public. What he'd actually done was take a photo of a bad driver's number plate, but the photo included school children in the background and somebody on Facebook reported him to the police. This led me to Google, without thinking, is it illegal to take photos of children in public in the UK? If I ever get falsely accused of a crime, there's a fair chance my search history could get used against me. There was this band from Indonesia a few years back. I don't know if they are still around. They're a hardcore punk band, and they are named after a song called Under 18 by a classic New York City hardcore band called Warzone. A song about shows being all ages and generally inclusive. My friend was over at my place and I played them for him. He decided to Google them for more info. He searched Under 18 Indonesian hardcore on my computer. I'm definitely on a list somewhere because of him. Cyclopea human. I made the mistake after watching Futurama. One of the characters, Leela, only has one eye. But human Cyclopea is a little birth defect and not the cool sci-fi stuff I expected. Seriously, do not Google it. One year my mom bought some female relatives some nice winter coats, red with black fur trim. She wanted to get matching hand warmers, called muffs, so she googled black muffs. It did not go well. There used to be this subreddit called Enough Internet, which was god awful. There were videos of people dying by chainsaws, toothpicks down dicks, people cutting off arms. It really changed me. Try typing mountain chicken. It's not bad or anything, it's just stupid. Carbuncle. You think you're going to see the cute little blue fox creature from Final Fantasy. You won't. Google image necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating bacteria. My wife had a patient early on in her career who had this on his genitals. She had a guy later in her career that the family refused to take off from life support, even though it was beyond pointless. He was sedated and unconscious, so at least he wasn't feeling pain. He had sepsis, multiple organ failure, his heart was bad enough to get a transplant, but he was far too sick to get one. He was on ECMO, then an Impala. He was on dialysis. He had fluid around his lungs, so he was intubated on a breathing tube. He was a diabetic who hadn't controlled it. His color was bad. Flesh loses a certain vibrancy when it's getting blood flow. He literally had clumps of skin falling off. Why mention all this? Make your care wishes known. Get it in writing and notarized. If your health network allows it, get it on file. If you have a life alert bracelet like I do, there's a place to upload it there. Don't put your loved ones in that position. Who wants to pull their child, sibling, spouse or other person who's named them their health proxy off of life support? What if the person refuses to give up hope and relies on prayer, healing crystals, essential oils, etc. when you should be moved to hospice or the equipment turned off? Modern medicine fascinates me, but it's terrifying the amount of that tech and care that can be applied to keep someone technically alive. First off, in the rare case you're using a shared work computer, front desk, production room, lab, etc., you should always Google in incognito mode. That way when other people, like me for example, use the computer that was previously used by my coworker for example, you don't see local abortion clinics as a recent search term when you're trying to find a local pizzeria for example, and treat that as the reason why you're working the holidays because said coworker is sick. For example, any symptoms you have. Trying to figure out what's wrong with you through Google is the quickest way to freak yourself out. Oh, I have a big list. Run the gauntlet. It's not that bad at first, but it gets bad. Armin Meewas crime scene photos, no. Bryce Williams video, not that bad, but I don't advise. Ed Gein human art, it's not that bad, just disturbing. Shotgun death bath, don't. Abdulia Sanchez live stream video, not that bad, but the situation is disturbing. Gabriel Kun and Daniel Petrie, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I advise reading their story only, don't look at the pictures. Nikki Katsura death photographs, don't. Facial degloving injuries, don't. Seriously. Stacy Wilson bus crime photos, pretty bad, don't. Body farm, it's really not that bad at all, plus it's for scientific purposes. Some of y'all gonna Google this, so I even rated which ones ain't that bad, and which ones are. Nice try, FBI. Not today, CIA. Leave me be, KGB. I'm not gay, YMCA. The Earthlings documentary. Couldn't bring myself to watch all of it, but clips of a live stray dog being thrown into a dump truck, to be compacted to death and a living, skin tanuki blinking and moving on top of a pile of dead tanukis was enough for me to want to die. Also, Steven Sadler and Boots Stanley of Louisiana slitting a pit bull's throat on Snapchat. We have a local stationery store called Stationery. I needed a form holder clipboard for work. We ordered everything through Staples, but they didn't have what I needed. The guy who did our ordering said no problem. Get me a part number and I'll buy it at X later. So I went back to my desk, opened Google, and typed. Pro tip, never Google that at work. Nikki Katsura's car accident pictures. Very gruesome photos were leaked by the Highway Patrol in 2006 and spread online like wildfire after she crashed her dad's Porsche. Don't look it up if you ask Weenish. It's basically a teenage girl hanging out of mangled car with an even more mangled head that's been crushed. I'm probably too late for this to be seen, but there's a video from a family's dashcam as they are driving down the highway. A brick falls off a truck or something and goes through their windshield and hits the wife in the passenger seat. You can't see anything cause the gore is all behind the camera, but you can hear the husband's reaction when he realizes that she's dead. The screams are haunting. Bobby, yeah. It's the only online video I ever came across that not only unsettled me deeply, but made me feel like vomiting for a very long time after. It's some bizarre claymation video that could be passed off as art about a somewhat Tim Burton sequel character's misadventures. It quickly unravels into something disturbing and disgusting with the visceral, surreal feeling of 80s campy FX, but with clay. It was so gross. I didn't even finish it. I saw it maybe 6 years ago, but if it crosses my mind I still wish I hadn't seen it. Not sure if it's a personal thing, but that one sat very badly with me. There's a lot of pictures and videos in here that are good selections to never Google, so I'll suggest something different. The transcript of the Toy Box Killer tapes is a highly disturbing read. The full audio was never released to my knowledge. For anyone curious, it's the first thing his victims would hear when they woke up strapped to a modified gynecological chair, where he describes in graphic detail everything he's going to do to them over the coming days, weeks, maybe months. Read about the case, but skip the full transcript. In 2004 I came upon a snuff film documentary, in that there was some footage which was convincingly real. Still haunts me to this day. The scene was like this. 2 girls and a guy plus cameraman go into a room. Room is dimly lit. The girls start to undress, hinting an orgy type scene. One girl ties another girl's hands to the bedposts and then holds/binds, uncertain, her legs. The guy starts kissing around the tied girl's body and suddenly procures a blade. The tied girl is visibly startled and then the guy stabs her in stomach. Then Slol 6 pulls out her intestines. Girl tied down is not even able to scream, just flaps like a fish. Then he slashes her wrists and lastly her throat. You can clearly see the girl going into shock before her throat is slit. All during this the other girl rubs herself in the blood. None of it seemed fake. None looked like acting. Still dream about that sometimes. I was 17 and stupid. I was traumatized when I began to realize that it might be a real murder. Tub girl. Too bad feeling lucky doesn't exist anymore. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Let us know your thoughts on this topic. See you soon.